Hey guys, welcome to another episode of ProSeller Talk. My guest today is Bob Steele. I'm not sure if I met Bob, but Bob has been at quite a few of the conferences that I've actually been out to Vegas, and the reason why I have Bob on here today is because Bob's story is a little intriguing to me because I know that what's happening out there right now in the market is there's a lot of people out there that are panicking and getting nervous. Even seasoned sellers are doing this thing, and I really find it interesting. And Bob is a true testament to no panic, because Bob is on track to do this year, I think, 1.3 million with just 50% on retail arbitrage and 50% on online arbitrage. So, Bob, I want to introduce you and let you talk a little bit to them and let them know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and your business, because you are a true testament to what I see as far as even though we have these brand restrictions going on, you're striving. You're actually growing from over leaps and bounds where you were last year. So, hey, Bob, welcome. And
it's great to be here, John. Yeah, I've been doing retail and online arbitrage be almost 5 years now. Basically, my girlfriend Rhonda, she goes to the stores a lot. She does a lot of the retail stuff while I'm sitting here doing the online stuff. It was a part-time gig until right when I got back from ASD. I had a job of 32 years that isn't there anymore. So now I'm transitioning into full-time and really looking to grow. But yeah, everything I do is online and retail arbitrage. Luckily, I haven't been hit by too many of the brand restrictions. I think only two that I know of, and one Disney ASIN, which I'm not sure why. But as far as everyone else in panicking, I'm just still buying the same inventory and basically capitalizing where everyone else is running away.
now are you finding yourself, Bob, are you being a little bit cautious though and buying less quantities? Or are you still just like same old and buying whatever you, just like it's the same game, nothing's changed?
No, nothing's changed for me. I just keep going.
You just keep buying what you see and just continuing to do it. Yeah, there is, like I said, there is a lot of panic out there right now of people trying to, I've had people, I have a fulfillment center, and I have a lot of clients saying, oh no. I mean, I've had a couple of people actually say they're going out of the online arbitrage business and the retail arbitrage business. And I say, that's crazy. There's just so many different things out there and so many different areas and niche markets and things like that that you can be able to find product. And even, until, I think the biggest thing, until Amazon tells you you can't sell something, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know especially for the new sellers, they're making it a lot harder, but I guess that's okay for some of the people who've been selling a while. For some of the people that are new to the marketplace, it's obviously a challenge to them. Some of what they're doing, I think, needs to be adjusted, and I think it will be. But I mean, I'm in a small group, and we find stores online, and they have 3,000 products, and everything in their store is priced at $11. I mean, obviously, if you place an order, you're never going to get your products. We see, name brand products being shipped from China that we know are counterfeit. And Amazon had to find a way to reduce that. But as usual with Amazon, they jumped leaps and bounds, and they'll eventually cut back on it and make it more reasonable, I think, to most of the sellers.
Yeah, and what I've found over the years with Amazon too is Amazon tends to make these changes right around fourth quarter, because I think that's when they know they're at their busiest point, and they want to make sure that their marketplace is safe for the consumer as well as the sellers that are in there. And I think personally that changing it and charging a fee to have brands, talking about the counterfeit side, and that whole thing happened because they opened up their borders to China and let the Chinese be able to send their products to Amazon.com with the same kind of shipping rates that we get. So once they decided to do that, they kind of created their own counterfeit type thing because they don't have anything in place to stop it. China right into Amazon.com. So that was one of the biggest things. But I also think that all these sites that have come up in, and I know about this was a while ago, where you had category approval type sites. And all these category approval sites, to me, was a light bulb for Amazon at some point. Maybe not now. It kind of maybe pushed it a little bit more.
Right.
For Amazon to say, maybe we can start charging for like brands and stuff. And I think I saw that coming down the line anyway. It may have been a year away, maybe a little bit longer. I just think that the counterfeit thing just kind of helped them go in that direction. Thing because it's a way for them to control the counterfeits, and it's a way for them to get the serious sellers in there, sure that the market is safe for both the consumer and the buyer. Do you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, even I know there was a big thing about the frozen restrictions, and Amazon was caught selling counterfeit frozen merchandise. So it happens to them as well. But
Yeah,
as
exactly.
far as the category on gatings go, I know there was a bunch of companies out there that done it. I actually paid for some of the files that I had, but their way of letting you get through it was a flawed system, and it still is. I mean, I know a lot of times they went through and they had the instant ungatings, but there's other times where, you know, I'd send a file in and they'd say, okay, well, you need to capitalize all the first letters of these words, and then you'd update it, and the next agent says, no, these all need to be lowercase letters. So their system was broken in the same token.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it was just a matter of time, and the reason why you don't see all these approval sites like you used to see them anymore is because Amazon a while back, I mean, clothing used to be horrific to get into. You had to go
Right.
through a major process to get through clothing, and then Amazon decided one day, hey, guess what? Let's open it up to everybody.
Yeah.
And as soon as they started doing those things, it started flooding the market, and it made shoes and clothing and the other gated categories easier to entry, and also made it easier for more competition to come in. So
Right.
you're starting to see like sneakers and things like that. There's pricing on sneakers now that, a year ago, you didn't see those prices that way.
Right. And then what happened too is they get a lot of duplicate listings listed in the sports and outdoors to get around the restrictions of selling in the clothing category,
Yeah,
which
exactly. So I want to take a step back here a little bit. And when did you start selling? And did you start on Amazon, or did you start on a different platform before
I
you went
sold
to
on
Amazon?
eBay for since the late 90s off and on, never as like a business, but hobby type thing. I had started going to auctions. I did storage auctions way before the days of the TV shows. Then I started going to live auctions and just buying the merchandise I wanted. I think doing the storage auctions, I had hundreds and hundreds of CDs and DVDs and stuff like that. So I'd come across a website called The Art of Books, which listed it on Amazon, eBay, and somewhere else. And I started seeing that like 90% of my sales were coming through Amazon. So then I looked more into the platform. I started doing some other things that I had found on Amazon because the listing process was a lot easier than eBay. And then I saw Chris Green speak at a e-commerce dinner, and I learned about FBA, and that was just about 5 years now this fall. And it just basically set off a light bulb in my head, and I just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, FBA hasn't really been around that long. It's going back 5 years. It hasn't been much longer than that since. So when you were selling on eBay, were you having the same success that you're having on Amazon now, or do you find the Amazon marketplace has been much more wide open for you and with a lot more sales?
Oh, Amazon is definitely different. eBay, like I said, I never did it as a big business. I did a lot of electronics and CB radio, stuff like that. More as a hobby. I did make some money at it, but now selling on Amazon, I actually look at it as a business.
So did you actually start, like I started, I sold on eBay for quite a few years since the 90s, and then Amazon merchant fulfilled for a while. Did you come on as merchant fulfilled first, or did you step right into the game of FBA?
No, I came in as merchants fulfilled first because I didn't know what FBA was. I used to see the listings, this item's fulfilled by Amazon. I didn't know what it meant.
Okay. And because for me, like I said, I started out my first year on Amazon FBA with $500 and turned it into $250,000 in sales that first year. Me, I was in the corporate world. I managed a multi-million-dollar showroom up in New England. And basically, when FBA came aboard and Amazon decided to do that, I saw the light bulb. The light bulb went on, and I didn't have to touch product anymore, and I could just pump it in and have Amazon do all the work and send it to the actual clients and the customers. To me, that was the big changing point of when my whole turnaround of my business started to really blossom and take off. And now for quite a few years, and we've built a multi-million-dollar business on it. And a lot of what we do now is we've branched out because of Amazon with the brands and stuff like that. And I know you do strictly online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, but we do a lot of private label and have our own brand, and we sell hundreds of thousands a month. Label kind of got out of that retail arbitrage and arbitrage mainstream thing. So I find it interesting that you're flourishing in that and continuing to buy the products that work for you. Now, when you're out there looking at your retail arbitrage or your online arbitrage, are you also looking at where are you? What area are you from? What state?
I'm in New England. I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, so you're up by Chris.
Yeah, I see Chris once every couple months or so. We get together, have lunch or whatever.
Yeah, he has his mastermind that he does up there.
Yeah, he doesn't do that anymore. He used to have one of the meetups, but he stopped it.
Yeah. Do you know Chris for the longest time would not do affiliates at all. And when we had, I'm part of Jim Cochran's mastermind group, and Chris is also, and we had that big talk with him, and it was kind of funny how, you know, he finally saw the value of what he can provide for people. And also, while he's providing it, why not make something off of it? His time is worth money, we kept telling him. So
right.
He eventually, the light bulb went on, and now the man is out of control. I mean, if you look at him, he's got so many different things going now.
He's got a million ideas.
He's got all kinds of things going, and it's just crazy because I was originally from Connecticut and moved down here to Tennessee. So I'm real familiar with that area up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing phenomenal with the things that he's doing and branching out with his merch by Amazon and things that he's doing. So other than the retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, knowing that you've been to Chris's seminars, I can tell you right now that Chris tells you don't put your eggs all in one basket. What are some of the things that you're looking to in the future to branch out into other than doing those two?
I am looking into some wholesale. I do have one wholesale order that's due to be delivered any day now for all Q4 stuff. It was all stuff I had actually bought retail over the last few years and know that it sells well, and I just got a hold of the local distributor and got a wholesale account. They actually represent about 200 companies, so I need to spend some time just processing their data and going through it and placing some more orders with it. And he's been like, you know, when he first came into my office, he brought his catalog and he had all the little yellow stickers on and said, you know, this product's good, this product's good. I said, no, give me a data file. I'll show you what I do with a data file. That night I had a 20,000 line item data file to go through, and it was just massive to go through and sort it all. So I need to modify my techniques a little bit to do it a little bit better, or train a VA how to do it for me.
So
and
when
I do plan on maybe looking into probably the Jet Walmart type thing, because I know, you know, Amazon can turn off the switch any day, so we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be putting your eggs all in one basket. So Jet, with Walmart buying Jet, I found that interesting, and I think that because of that, there's going to be other ones anyway, because of the things that Amazon's doing right now. There's going to be other platforms that pop up. There always is. I mean, you've got other platforms on there that are not quite as good. You've got Sears, Ratatouille, which is from Japan.
Yep.
They came into the U.S. not too long ago, and I really think that they're going to figure it out like Amazon, and they're going to be a competitor of Amazon, and it's going to really free up the market for us to be able to have a better playing field and more even as far as Amazon dominating.
Right. I just don't know why they didn't keep the buy.com name, because I think that stuck better in people's heads than the Rakuten name.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided to change that name and go with their maybe because they had their brand already out there and they just felt that
maybe
Ratatouille is actually stronger than Amazon overseas than with Amazon. So they may have decided just to go with that. I'm not really sure what they why they went that way. So like I said, you've got the online when you're doing your online arbitrage, and let's go through the procedure a little bit. I know when I was doing it, how I would go through it. Walk us through a session, like when you're going through and you're looking to purchase something, and how do you determine what's a good buy, what's something that sells well? I mean, what are your that you go through as far as your processes to say, okay, check this off, check this off, check this off before you say, okay, this is something that I need to buy?
The first thing I'll do is definitely look at the keeper graphs to see the sales rank, the sales history and the price history. It's more of the price history. I mean, you want to see sales, obviously, but you just want to make sure that it's not just like a current sales spike, that the price is just up. Amazon just ran out yesterday. The price just doubled overnight. You really want to make sure it's got a steady history to it. The next thing I'll do, generally, once I have, I feel comfortable enough buying the product at the price it's buying, I'll use a Chrome plugin. I'll either use Cashback Watch or I'll use Rev ROI to check the cashback I can get. I mean, the cashback that I accumulate every month generally pays our household bills between Ebates and Giving Assistant and Top Cashback. I mean, you want to compare them all, make sure that you're getting the maximum cashback you can for every purchase you make. The next thing I'll do is I'll go and I'll get discounted gift cards if I can, usually buying those on a cashback card as well. So if I'm getting 8% off and I'm getting 2% on the credit card, there's 10% there. Check Retail Me Not or have the Honey app installed for any coupons that you can find. Invisible hand drops down with a bunch of coupons. So just try and lower your costs as much as possible. When it makes sense, I'm shipping it to the prep center in New Hampshire so that I'm not paying sales tax. So basically anything over a $20 purchase that I have to pay tax on, that's getting shifted to the prep center. That also helped me grow a lot because for a while I was shipping everything I could there when I was still working full-time. I've transitioned to full-time Amazon now, but when I was working full-time, it was only so many hours in a day to process stuff. So I started using the prep center more and more, and basically just maximizing every dollar you can make on the purchase.
Yeah, I like the fact. Congratulations for coming home. I like hearing dads coming home. That's Jim Corcoran's motto of bringing dads home. Coming from part-time to now being full-time and being able to, I call it now having your own controllables controlled. Right. I like that, where you can actually live the life that you want to live now and do the things that you want to do. So congratulations on that. I know that's huge for you. I was able to come home. If you don't mind sharing and some of the actual things that you go through, as far as you said, cashback things and yep, these rebate sites that you use and things like that. If you don't mind sharing, there may be people that are not even familiar with what you mean about, and to me, that's just basically buying down, getting your price down by using Ebates, and you can use cards you can buy a gift card. I know you can buy like a Visa card or, a store card that's maybe a $500 card for $470, so that you save $30 there too. So, if you don't mind sharing for the people on here.
Yeah, I'll tell you the extensions I actually use to compare the cashback sites. I use Cashback Watch, and I use Rev ROI. I think Cashback Watch is free. Rev ROI is a small fee to get it. And basically what you do when you're on the website that you want to shop on, or actually I wait till everything's in my basket, you just click on it, it'll come up and it'll show you the different cashbacks for each website available. So say you're on Target.com, it'll come up and say, Coupon Cactus is 2%, Ebates is 4%, Top Cashback is 3%, Discover Deals is 5%. With Discover, the first year you have a card, it doubles. So if I'm getting 5% back on a site, it actually becomes 10% for the first year. So then you just click through and basically they get an affiliate commission and they pass part of that along to you. For gift cards, I'll use either Raise or Card Cash and just see what the different rates are. I think Rev ROI does have a built-in app part of it that'll actually compare them right on the screen for you. You don't have to go check the different sites, and it'll show you where the different gift cards are and what the discount is. And the other ones I use for the coupon codes, I'll use Honey, which will actually automatically put them into your cart and try the codes that they have on hand. If those don't work, Invisible Hand has a drop down that'll say it has coupons available. And sometimes if I don't find any there, I'll go to Retail Me Not, which I don't think has a plugin, but you can go to their website and just put in the site you're shopping on, and it'll tell you what the if there's any coupon codes, and you just try them.
And do you also compound that with buying the gift cards? In other words, like, let's say you're shopping at, let's say, Target, and you buy a Target gift card that's maybe $500, and you can get it for like $465 or something like that. Do you also compound those?
Yeah, I'll use I have a Capital One Spot card, which is 2% cash back. So if I spend $1,000 on a gift card, I'm getting $20 back as a credit to my account.
And do you also, besides the cash back, which is a great thing, do you also, like, we have gift cards when I buy large purchases that we actually get the points, so we can actually like, whenever I travel and I go to a convention or go somewhere, like over 200, over 2 million points or for miles for airlines. So I can't remember the last time I paid for one.
Right. Yeah, I just take the cash and then I buy the tickets. And I haven't. I mean, I know there's actually a Facebook group out there that specializes in that type of stuff about all the cashback points and which airline miles are best and how you compound them. I haven't got that deep into it. I just take the 2% cash.
Yeah, do you know Andy Do?
I do. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him.
Yeah, he does that. That's exactly what he does. Is it with the cashbacks? He's been traveling all over the country and the world, and he doesn't pay anything for hotels or any of his expenses. He does it all on what you're basically just talking about right here. And he's been doing that. Now he lives out on some island someplace. I was just talking to him yesterday. He's going to be one of my guests coming up in September. He's out on some island now and doing he's doing his business from an island. So it's just amazing the opportunities and the possibilities of what since the internet came on board, changed the whole playing field. I mean, because you and I both know, if you were to try to do what you did now and open up a brick and mortar store, not as easy.
No, not at all. Most of the brick and mortar stores are closing.
It's a lot of work because you don't even get the same kind of the audience that you get from the online. I mean, you got the World Wide Web as your audience, so it's a huge area of what you're able to sell to.
Right.
What are some of the tips that you would give somebody new starting out that, let's say, it's difficult to sell on Amazon and it's hard, and doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage is not hard. Is it work? Yes, it's work, especially retail arbitrage where you're pulling stickers and things like that. But I like to tell beginners that are starting out to get your feet wet. That's the absolute best way to do it.
Yeah,
and
I would definitely start with retail before you try and do the online. Understand the products, understand pricing and stuff like that. Because the online, even though a lot of times you're buying the same product, it's just knowing the products in the first place and being able to physically touch them and stuff, I think, is an advantage than just starting to order stuff online.
Now, are you finding on the online, because I used to do that, and like I said, we do mostly private label now, but are you finding on the online markets that they still limit you to 3 or 5? And we all know the trick where you can go back in and create another order, create another order, create another order. Is that still the key?
On the website. I mean, after a while, when you do it enough, you learn. It's like, I know a lot of people have issues with ThinkGeek. I can order 30 pieces of one SKU for ThinkGeek and ship it to the prep center and don't have an issue. I don't know why my account lets it go through. There are some sites, obviously, that limit your purchases, and you learn, like Crocs will give you a hard time if you buy too much. Zolly will shut you down. So basically, you learn them. And the other thing I've been doing on sites that I know won't limit me, like I'll take Sierra Trading Post for an example. I'll buy all they have. If I'm confident enough in the product, I'll just buy them out, and there won't be. I don't have to worry about anyone else buying them and tanking the price.
Yeah, Sierra don't care where their product goes. I can tell you that from firsthand in my fulfillment center. But it's interesting what you say about ThinkGeek, and there are more and more coming on. Now you're only buying 30, so you may be under that radar where you're not buying a whole lot. But for my fulfillment center is on their radar and on a lot of people's radars. When they see it come up, they don't even ship there anymore. So we've had to transition to more wholesale and private label type clients, which we do a lot of. But it's just interesting how online places like ThinkGeek have figured out where the product's going, and they don't like resellers. And I don't understand why they don't like resellers, because resellers can't really sell it cheaper than a brick and mortar store can sell it.
Right. And I don't know why. They used to cancel my like 8-piece orders, and now I can basically put anything I want through there and it doesn't get canceled. I used to get flagged a lot with the Timmy bot, but lately I can do whatever I want with them and they just let me buy it. And I've even shipped it to the prep center that I use.
What sites have you seen, since you obviously deal with a lot of online, that you see that are being restricted other than Think Geek, which was and maybe not so much anymore? I know, like, we don't see things from Target anymore.
Right, yeah, Target, if I order Target, has to ship to my house. They will not ship to the prep centers. I haven't had issues with quantity, but a lot of times they limit how many you can put in your cart. So I won't go through and do 10 orders in a row, but I'll do, if it's a limit of 3, I'll do 1 or 2 a day for 4 or 5 days in a row if something's on sale. And they haven't really bothered me yet, but there's other items I buy from them that I can put 30 in my cart. Walmart doesn't usually have an issue. I can buy as much quantity as I want from them. They don't cancel anything. There are products that they limit the quantity on, but most of the times, no, I can go ahead and buy as much as I want from them. The sites I know about with cutting back on resellers, Crocs will definitely give you a phone call and will shut you down as a reseller. I know if you try and go to Zully and you get the big bear hug thing, that means they've flagged you as a reseller. Other than that, I really haven't had too many issues with websites shutting me down. I know others have.
Now, have you experienced it all with Jet now coming on board? I tend to see some of this now coming. You flipping stuff from Jet onto Amazon?
I have a couple times, but I've also had a couple of Jet orders canceled. I haven't done a lot of ordering from Jet yet. But if you look at Jet, sometimes you can figure out where it's actually coming from. It's like I've ordered something and you can see that it's actually coming from a company called Beals, which is Bealls. And I just went right onto the Beals website and order it for actually less than I could on Jet because I was able to use coupon codes. So if you look into Jet, a lot of times you'll be able to figure out what the actual master store is and backtrack from there and actually save a little bit of money from the Jet prices.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip for people that are on here to listen to that, because you can basically do that in a lot of places, and a lot of times when I'm buying online, I will check if it's a hot product or if it's online and I buy it through Amazon or and flip it back on Amazon.
Yep.
Manufacturer, and see if I'm able to get it cheaper and be able to save myself some money. And if you're buying from them enough, a lot of times, nine times out of 10, like you said, I mean, some of these companies have kickbacks too. I don't know, like if you buy from Mattel or Hasbro or those type of companies, Fisher Price, I've done that in the past, that you get kickbacks. They give you actually like cash back at the end of the month, like promotional dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of any of that? Have done any of that?
I've done a little bit, not a lot. One thing I do like to do is some of the larger stores like Target, Best Buy, Blink, they all have eBay stores where basically the whole catalog is on eBay. And it's a lot easier if you're using a program like Tactical Arbitrage or OA X-Ray to scrape the data from eBay, because you can get 200 pages at a time than it is to go through the individual categories of those sites. So I actually go to Best Buy's eBay store and I'll use OA X-Ray and I'll put 200 items at a time and be able to go through it, instead of trying to go to Best Buy site and then go through category by category and 15 items on a page and stuff like that. So if you use any of that type of software, look and see if they have an eBay store. It may save you a little bit of time. But then what I'll do is after I find the product on eBay, I'll go buy it from Best Buy, from Target, so I can maximize the cash back and the rewards and all that stuff.
Okay. And what do you think? I know you probably don't do this, but I see a lot of it out there now, and I think it's kind of a risky business. But there are a lot of people now that are starting that don't want the inventory but are doing drop shipping. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't do any drop shipping. I honestly wouldn't recommend it, especially from a major retailer. They're gonna put a receipt in the box. The other thing, I believe it's a violation of Amazon's terms of service. I think part of it says that you have to have the inventory on hand. Yeah,
and you have to be able. It has to be shipped within 2 days.
Yeah, but I'm more concerned that I've seen people do it. Like, hey, I paid $80 for this on Amazon, and it came in a Walmart box with a receipt for $40. You know, you can't tell Walmart, don't put a receipt in the box and don't use your box.
Yeah.
I mean, there's legitimate drop ship companies as well, but I know people that have done it from retailers, and I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm seeing in the chat too, people saying that they were having problem getting on Webinar Jam. I just want to let them know that YouTube about a week or so ago made some major changes, and it was only with Webinar Jam where they jammed up the chats. And there is something that they put out where you can go into the back end of your YouTube account and bypass and get the settings that you need to be able to see it. So that's why I'm glad that, Kyle, you put the link up there so they can watch it. Well, again, because that's just right now, that's something that YouTube out of the blue just decided they wanted to jam up Webinar Jam's processing of how to look at the chat. So you can't look at the chat on the webinar on YouTube, but you still can hear and be able to check out this video and see what Bob is talking about. So I do
for some reason, I can't even see the chat. I can see where it says group chat, but I'm not getting anything in it. So if you have a question, someone will have to, John will have to ask it to me.
Yeah, like, see, I can see everything because I've fixed everything, but a lot of, and it's not just the people that have the Webinar Jam, it's anybody that goes through, because this goes through YouTube. So anything that goes through YouTube, you have to go in and reset those settings. And I know that YouTube had a page where it told you about, you can just Google there, and it'll show you and walk you through how to do it. It was a little bit of a process to do, but people that actually were the presenters, but it's actually not. It's everyone that actually is coming on and watching it too. So it's a pain in the butt. And just like, going into fourth quarter, YouTube, the same thing. Let's just make a change right in the middle.
Yeah.
So they decided to go ahead and do that. So basically your projections are, you think you're going to do around 1.3 billion this year, and that's between the retail arbitrage and the online arbitrage?
Right. I mean, that's what I had just projected I was going to do part-time. So now that I'm full-time, I should probably move that up a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, and then the people that are on this webinar should really understand this. If you had 1.3 million doing it part-time, you were hustling.
yeah, I mean, I did 850 last year part-time.
Yeah, and even then, you're hustling. Trust me,
Right.
I know. Doing
I mean, it's a couple hours in the morning. It wasn't, I mean, it was literally part-time. It was literally maybe 3 hours a day. Like I said, Rhonda, she goes shopping. She does a lot of the TJ Maxx stuff while when I was at the office, she was doing that. So it's a couple hours a day on her end as well. And I really utilized the prep center to my advantage because I didn't have the time to sit there and prep it myself and ship it myself. So now I use it more of as a tax advantage, but I also used it to grow where, okay, I can have them ship out 200 items in a day that would take me hours and hours to do, and I could just pay them, $200 or whatever. I think at the time it was $1 an item plus boxes and stuff, and just utilize them to help yourself grow. And you got to realize the people that are working at prep centers, they know what they're doing, and I think you run one too, John, that, you guys know the product, you know how it's supposed to be prepped, you know how the best packing methods, that sometimes it's worth the investment of just having experts doing it rather than trying to fuddle through it yourself and do it.
Well, the other thing is, it's not, when you say worth the investment, I mean, you got to take your time and what your time is worth.
And then you have to have the software and stuff like that. I mean, there's now with the new box requirements, that's going to be a lot of time for people that don't have, I know a lot of the centers they're going to start developing box content, software and stuff like that. But if you're sitting there trying to do it yourself and just the time that it takes to list and pack and, keeping the supplies on hand, it can be time consuming. I mean, when you're getting started, learn the process, but then, utilize tools to grow.
Yeah, I believe when you're able to, you should outsource the tasks that you don't need to do. I've always said that. So as far as what you're talking about with our fulfillment center that we have here in Tennessee is all software based. I had software developed for it. Only one that I know of that is software based and goes through Amazon's API. Very expensive to be able to do that. We do that, and it's interesting about what you just said about the box count, because my box count has just been done. So we now have that added to our software where we're going to be beta testing that in about a week or so, because we know it goes into effect in November. So we are already aware of that and ahead of the curve on that and have that all set up. Some of the other things that we do, I mean, is we have e-commerce. We can ship anywhere, any website. So if you sell something on other than Amazon, we can ship it to you. We have storage that we have too. So options, like you said, you're going to grow tremendously when you start outsourcing.
Yep.
Those tasks. Like you said, you have VAs. Well, why do you have VAs? You have VAs because you can teach VAs to do what you don't need to do, and you can concentrate on what you need to do. So it's huge. And once you did that, like you said, you've got 1.3 million. You're part-time. I'll just be real curious to see how much you crush that by, only because you're freeing up a lot of your time by sending it to prep centers, and you're doing the work that you need to do. And even then, I mean, you're talking online. You don't have to. You can train a VA to find all the products to you and send you a spreadsheet, and you can even have them buy with gift cards, like some of the people I know do. Or you've got your list, you go ahead and buy what's on the list. So cut down your time. And when you're getting a VA somewhere, for if it's in the States or out of the country, the Philippines or something, you pay them like $250 a month. I mean, It's not a whole lot of money that you're paying them.
Right. Yeah, I don't trust the VAs yet to do my purchasing. I still do all that myself, to actually placing the orders. Luckily, I have access to a bunch of data because I do also run a sourcing company. So we have a dozen VAs that are sourcing day and night. So there's plenty of data for me to look at. So I do have a slight advantage there. I don't have all personal VAs, but yeah, I have a team of VAs that works for a group of us.
And let's get into that just a little bit. You just said you have a sourcing VA team, and I know you have a list that you put out. There's so many lists out there. There's shoe lists, there's clothing lists, there's toy lists, there's, you name it, there's lists. What makes your list stand out more so than others? How do you stop it from saturation? How do you control the controllables?
Well, we control how many people it goes out to. We have VA mastermind groups, so basically there's a list every day. Those are max to 15 people in each group. And we don't share data between groups. Say we have two general groups. They each get fresh sets of data. Any of our email lists, they only go out to a maximum of 25 people. We don't oversell anything, because that's not, it's going to build a bad reputation, and that's not what we want. We want to be honest. Basically what happened, it's funny how we started. I had a personal VA who was scraping websites for me, and there was 3 of us that had joined a different VA service, and it just wasn't managed right. We didn't think they were being honest. So I said, hey, let's take this guy and train him how to source for the 3 of us. And one thing led to another, and before we knew it, we had 25 VAs and a bunch of groups and stuff like that. But we had just wanted them for personal use, and it kind of went from there. But so we basically set it up the way we would have wanted it if we had been in the group. We've, of course, had to make adjustments over time. We noticed that, a VA would go back and seem to have the same finds that a different VA had a few weeks before from the same website. So I actually found a way that we have a master Google Doc that only the admin VAs can see, because we do have an admin VA that double checks everything. And the actual person doing the sourcing can only see their own sheet. They can't see the other VA sheets. And then we use an import feature in Google Docs, where it'll take the individual docs and put it on different tabs of the main doc. So when I go in, I can see everybody's work, but the actual VAs can only see their own work. So that's something we've done to prevent duplicate finds and stuff like that. And we have checks in process that, we have an admin VA go back and make sure that ASIN hasn't been used in the last month, to make sure we're not duplicating data and stuff like that.
Right. I'm actually going to post it here in the chat for them, so that if anybody's interested and wants to find out about Bob's list and what he has together, I like the fact that he limits it to only 15 people. And I think that if you're looking for something and forget it, as far as finding inventory, Talk about a little bit, Bob, about what kind of margins your lists have, and what kind of are you looking at return on investments of 40% and above? I mean, what are you looking at for people that don't understand what the list is that might be on this call and are looking for certain margins, where your perimeters are and what you look for as far as what you put on those lists?
Okay, well, what we tell the VAs to source bare minimum is a $3 profit and a 30% ROI. The reason we do that seems low to some. We don't have them go and try and find all the deals and all the discounts and stuff like that. We just want them finding the deals. And then most of us and most of the people that are selling know how to get the extra discounts to really raise those ROIs. So if they have a starting point, that's where they start. We actually have showed them how to read the keeper graph. So not only do we post the current sales rank, we have the 90-day average sales rank. So you can see, okay, this wasn't a one-time sale. You know, this is a steady seller. The sales rank's been pretty close. We have them show both the buy box price and the lowest price. Sometimes the FBA seller is, you know, $60 and the buy box is $30. You know, that's not a real, as far as I'm concerned, selling price. You know, you may be able to get $40 FBA, but, you know, double the buy box price, I doubt. So that's just kind of the things that we kind of showed them. We do give them access to a lot of software. We use RevSeller that'll help them give them the payout without having to go through the Amazon calculator. They have subscriptions to OAX-Ray where they rotate use, because we have so many of them, we can't have them using it all every day. And there are people that want sites that aren't supported by the scrapers. You find those are the better deals. I mean, a lot of my personal replens are on sites that OAX-Ray and Tactical Arbitrage don't support, or that they don't match correctly. I mean, I got a few Target items that usually everyone says, oh, Target saturated. Well, the products that I'm selling don't match up correctly with the UPCs and the scrapers and stuff like that, so not as many people find them.
Right. So less competition.
Right.
And that's what I found when I was checking out the list when I was reviewing them. And what I did find is that you're scraping companies that are not commonly being scraped by others. So you're really drilling down into the scene that I'm aware of, because I do a lot of that type of stuff too. I have my staff do it, but I know they're not common. They're not every day on the list that I'm looking at. Other people's lists don't have these stores and these outlets that what you're doing. I don't see it as being common. So what I'm seeing,
that's actually one of the tools I use to grow is so many people get a list and they think that that's like the Bible of what to go buy. And it's really not how to look at a list. You really want to take the list and find new sources from it, find similar items to it. I mean, perfect example, one of our VAs did it was some vitamin store. It must have been a month ago. And there was one particular product on it. It was a brand name I had never heard of. So that item I actually didn't buy, but when I got that brand name, I did a search on Amazon and on that company's website and actually found like 8 items from that one that were really good buys, actually probably better than the one that the VA found. And I've got no competition on those. So use the list as a starting point. Don't use it as a Bible of go buy this product. Use it to get fresh ideas, to get, you know, insight into sites, insight into new brands, insight into, you know, what type of category that may be selling. Don't just go and try and buy the products that are on the list.
yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. You use them as a guide mainly. Guys, we're going to open it up a little bit here. We're getting closer to the hour, to any questions that you guys might have for Bob while he's here. So if you have any questions, post them in the chat, and I'll be glad to get those over so that Bob know what those questions are. Again, I do apologize for the problems that we're having with YouTube not cooperating with Webinar Jam. Hopefully they'll get that fixed soon. I think with the people that we have here, I can randomly go through and pick some people. I don't know who your staff is, so that kind of makes it hard for me.
Well,
email
Kyle or
me.
Sky are asking stupid questions. Ignore them.
Yeah, I think that you were going to give away a couple of things, and what we'll do is we'll pick somebody from this, and I'll pick their names and let them know this webinar, and they'll just have to email me, and we can get that information to them. I also know that did we have a special deal? I don't remember if we had a special deal for them or not.
I can generate a discount code on Gumroad for them. I can generate a 10% off code. And we can give away a 1-month membership to our Shoes and Clothing group, which is generally $200, and a 1-month membership to our 1% group, which is an email. Every day it's 5 finds in the top 1%. That's generally $50 a month. We can give away one of those each. You can just email me their email addresses or their Facebook profiles, and I'll take care of it from there.
Yeah, and that's what I'll do. I'm going to pick somebody from this. We have here on the chat that I can see, and we'll see who I can pick here. I'm just going to randomly pick somebody. Let's see. You said Kyle works for you, right?
Yeah.
Kyle and Sky.
We actually run merch services too. We design shirts and create keywords, and he's one of the guys that him and Brianna are like killing it on merch. And we've done, I think I looked at the sheet the other day, 7,000 different designs or something like that for various clients and stuff like that.
I really haven't done the merch by Amazon yet.
Neither have I.
But I'd be real interested in maybe talking to them to find out how to get that, set up, because I think that is a huge opportunity, like Chris Green always says that.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like when I'm looking at these, people love your merch service, Masha. I don't know if you know Masha, but she says she loves your merch service.
I'm glad she likes it.
I'm not sure who that is, but thank you, Masha, for that. So looking at these names, I'm just going to close my eyes and kind of pick one on this computer. Scroll is, just let it scroll while I'm not looking, and pick one, and I'm going to pick, it looks like I have a Diana. Diana, I only see Diana. It says, hope no one has heard me singing.
You don't want to hear me sing, that's for sure.
Diana, if you can send me your email address to john@major, it's MAEJA associates.com. I will get your information over to Bob, and you will get the information that he has as being the winner of his giveaway. So much, Diana. Any questions? Something about Brianna can do it all. Awesome giveaway.
Yeah, Brianna's a machine. We call her the Bree-bot.
It looks like everybody here is just saying awesome to your giveaways and just really giving praise to what you do. So, any questions that we have for Bob at all? It's about Q&A Clipper, Bob. I guess we have a quick talk about.
You'll have to pass them on to me.
Yeah, somebody wants to know about if you can talk about the Q&A Clipper.
The OA Clipper?
Yeah, OA Clipper.
That's actually a tool that it was an idea I had a long time ago. Basically, what we wanted to do is we wanted to save our VA's time. So when we go to a website, we can highlight the price, or we can highlight the description, and then search Amazon for that product. Once we tell it that it's an Amazon match for that product, which is actually, if it comes up with a bunch, it's usually the first one, but we want to verify it's the right product. It then exports it to a Google sheet and does all the calculations for you. That's what we wanted to design to save our VA's time. It's in the final stages now. It's in beta. I partnered with Nate McAllister doing it. I met Nate, 2 years ago at the first conference I went to in Providence, and to be honest, he bent over backwards to help me with VAs, to help me grow. Great guy, knows his stuff. So his idea was to basically after that have it go to a web-based platform where once you build your database, it's going to update the source price and it's going to update the Amazon price, and you're going to be able to, you know, go and purchase items when you wanted to. But I had the Google Docs part of it because that's what we use for our VAs to source, and he had the website part of it, so we partnered together on it, and we've had some programmers working on it. It seems like too long now, but I think it's been about 6 months. And there is an OA Clipper beta Facebook group for those that have joined. If anyone's interested, and I can definitely get you the link for it.
Yeah, well, it just says someone, Masha says, I just signed up via Nate to test OA Clipper.
Yep.
Also said, I thought there were a couple of giveaways. I don't know how she knows that because I didn't even know that. So.
Well, Nate had done a webinar last week on all types of OA tools, and I think he had a bunch of giveaways, if that's what she's talking about. And I just told you that I'd give away the 2 subscriptions, so maybe one of those.
Okay. So we gave away 1. Do we want to give away another one to somebody else?
Sure.
All right. Let me see who else we can pick here. All right. Same thing. And I'm seeing Ada Morell, Merrill. Ada, if you could also email me at John at majораssociates.com. I will get that information to you. So John at majaassociates.com. I will also get that information. I need your email and information so I can get that over to Bob. And thanks and congratulations to you also. I have a question from Scott. He said, how did you find your first VA? But I think you kind of answered that with Nate, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I had my first VA. It was probably a year and a half ago, and it was just all the talk in the groups about getting your own VA. So I just went on to, I used onlinejobs.ph then. Now we're using Upwork because what we like about Upwork is it takes a screenshot every 10 minutes of what they're doing so you can monitor what they do. It also tracks their time. They basically log into a time tracker, so their hours are accounted for, and it shows you how much keyboard and mouse clicks they're doing in that 10-minute period. So it gives you a monitoring system, whereas I think one of the original VAs I had, I guess it was more of a trust issue. I thought he'd get more done in the day than he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically, okay, this is how many hours I work, pay me by PayPal. And I really had no way of monitoring and seeing what he was doing. And the other thing it lets us do is if we can see what they're doing, we can give them, helpful criticism to say, hey, you should do this differently to increase what you're doing, to make it a little bit easier for yourself. It's like we had given them certain tools to use, and then one time I looked at a screenshot and they were using something that was out of date and they shouldn't have had. And we said, no, we gave you this tool, and for some reason they didn't download it. So we were able to say, hey, put this down. It's going to help you out. It's going to save you time. So that's what we like using Upwork. There's no fee to join. There's no monthly fee, but they did just start charging, I think it's a 5% fee to the person hiring the virtual assistant, whereas before all the fees were taken out of their salary. Now I think they split it between the VA and the person hiring them.
Yeah, I love Upwork. We use Upwork for a lot of things. That extension that I sent you, Stock Check, did you get to look at that at all?
I did. I like that. It helps you know how many each person has in stock before you make a buying decision, instead of trying to add it to the cart the old way and stuff like that. You can say, okay, this guy's only got 1, this guy's got 3. All right, I'm going to price above this guy because by the time my stuff gets to the warehouse, they're going to be sold out, so I can price this much higher. Or, okay, this guy has 600 in stock. I don't want to buy this product, or, I got to meet him if I want to get any sales.
Yeah, that tool, that Upwork, that was made by Upwork. We had Upwork for us. And what I like about that tool is, like you said, it's a quick analysis. And it also, on the front page, it takes all the totals of all sellers and gives you a running instant, like within a minute, you're going to know how many are on Amazon up to 1,000. Obviously, you can't go over $9.99. Amazon will never do that.
Yeah, but it's a really quick reference, and it just helps making the buying decision that much faster.
So we love that. We have another tool that's coming out too. It's a review tool that actually give you the reviews from review 1 to review 5, and it actually has a few different neat features in it where you can actually see, and you can sort by ones and see what people were saying that wasn't good with it.
Right.
And it gives you little reference points of how to make it better.
Cool.
So it's a really cool tool that we have. Again, just trying to find, I guess the other question I had for you real quick before I let you go here, I don't see a lot more questions here, is doing what you're doing, what could be on the market that would make your life a lot better as far as a tool that you feel that's not out there, something that would really benefit you as far as time and as far as a resource where maybe you're not having to click through all these things all at once and try to find things. What was out there?
There's 100 tools I'd want, but that's a hard question because the tools that are available now just keep getting better. I would probably want something that could notify me, that I could set and be notified when a website changes their prices. Like say, okay, I want to watch this product, and I know stuff exists, but it's pretty pricey to monitor ASINs and stuff like that. But just to monitor the stock levels and pricing and stuff like that without having to go back and manually continuously check it.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the other thing that people look for, and it's not out there yet, is that you've got Jungle Scout, you've got ASIN Inspector, you've got Keeper, you've got Camel. I think somebody would like something where it would be a one-shot thing where you don't have to open up 17 different windows to find out all this information and data.
Right.
That's something that's going to be would be a real good thing to have as far as tools and saving you as a time saver. What do you say? Okay. As far as other tools that I think that are on the market, I think I saw a couple of them now, and I know that we're in the process of making one. It hasn't been launched yet, but I like the fact that you can go on Amazon and have a tool an extension that you can click on that'll actually show you Alibaba and show you places where here's the item, here's where you can buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's one of the main drivers behind Amazon's transparent background is it can do image recognition. I don't know if a lot of people know it, but actually there used to be an app called Flow, but now the Amazon Seller tool does that. If you scan, say that the store covers the barcode, you can just hit scan and take a picture of the product. It'll find it for you. But another plugin I've used before in the past is called TinEye, or if I see an image on a website and you can click on TinEye, it'll go looking for that same image. And I'll do that sometimes to try and find it on Amazon if I'm not being successful by the title.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not only that, I'm saying taking it one step further where you can scan it and it shows it on Amazon, but then not only takes it to Amazon, it takes it to where you can actually purchase it wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, that would be a great tool to have. Like I said, Alibaba, they're sketchy. You got to watch what you do with Alibaba. They have their verified things. They have their verified sources where, they pay a lot of money to get that little check mark or whatever it is, gold star. You got to be, more aware of things like that, especially with the fakes and things like that. But some things really quick with those type of pieces of software. And I think the more we evolve as an online market, the more tools. Like I'm also looking at creating tools that are not just for Amazon, for e-commerce sellers in general, so that if you do sell on Jet or you do sell on your own website or you do somewhere else, you can still get that data that's needed to make that education and buying decision.
Right, and you got to stay ahead of the curve. If you're trying to use software that's developed last year, it's too far behind. You got to stay on the cutting edge and stay ahead of everybody else. Yeah,
same with my fulfillment center. I mean, we started out with a piece of software and had to keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And, it gets up to where it's over $150,000. I mean, if you know anything about software is expensive to have it developed.
It is.
So it's just one of those things where, you got to keep evolving. So I'm not going to take any more of your time. I really do appreciate you coming on here, Bob, and and spending some time with us. And I wish you nothing but the best. And hopefully I'll be traveling again next year. I'll probably be speaking at ASD. I haven't booked that yet, but I just got to talk to Camille down there. I know her pretty well. And I might be speaking down there depending on my health. And hopefully I get to meet you at some point. And I'm really excited for the fact that you're home now and you're not having to do this part-time anymore, and you're really starting to take control of your controllables, because first and then everything else after. God first and family and everything else after that. And the fact that you're home and you're working it is a credit to you. And I just take my hat off to you to be able to come home and realize that with hard work, you can make this business work.
Yeah, thank you for having me, John. It was a pleasure. Look forward to meeting you, hopefully at one of the conferences. If not, I have plenty of time. I'll travel down to Tennessee one day.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Or I'll go back home, get back up there. All right, Bob, you take care. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you too.